The Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you. Live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed Friday edition over the next 3 hours. Great guests on the show today. Jeff Davis here at Circa on the NHL. VSiN host Jonathan Von Tobel. He is very strong on an NBA series. Eddie Olczyk, the great Eddie O, coming up a little bit later on.
Damn right.
And Mike Somich, who's also a VSiN host. He's dynamite with the ponies. So it is Derby weekend, obviously. He was very high on Grande, who was scratched today. And he wrote about that in the Kentucky Derby Guide here at VSiN, how he was going to have him like peppered over like exotic bets for this entire event that we have coming up tomorrow. Well, now to go along with Rodriguez getting scratched earlier in the week, Grande now goes, and he's not the only guy. Somich not the only guy who's making the case for Grande. Mm-hmm. And now, Paulie, we're down to a 19-horse field.
Yep. And Massaro had a good breakdown. Maybe it was too hardcore, but he knows what he's talking about. But he was also high on Rodriguez, and we got the news as well. The door opened for Beza, and you have the similarities to Rich Strike, if that could happen. So I think Beza has a shot, and can journalism live up to the hype? And we'll see if they. And I've already had a couple texts about the 18 with Saventry, which that's come down to the price on that horse as well.
Well, the difference between Beza and Rich Strike, right, getting put in here late.
Uh-huh.
Beza is 12-1. Rich Strike was, what, 80?
Yeah, right.
Slight difference there, 80-1
yeah.
when it took down the Derby a couple of years ago. So you have that tomorrow, obviously. We'll get into that hardcore today throughout. Somich coming up in about a half an hour. He's also very strong on a bunch of games in the NHL and series prices. NBA and NHL tonight, Paulie, down to 2 games now here in the playoffs on a Friday night. Rockets-Warriors, I find this very interesting. The total is up. I touched 207.5 a little bit earlier today.
How about this? A 3.5-point move on a Game 7 total to the over, when historically it's unders.
Mm-hmm.
What we have when you get this late, but this is Game 6.
Game 6,
Game 7, but Game 7 with Denver, what that's priced at. But I think the move's correct based on what happened in the last game because of the pace and how Houston played it. But it's the similarities here are striking as well. Going back a couple years ago, 3-1 series lead. Golden State in 2022 lost by 39 to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
They bounce back, win the next game, win the series. With 5:50 left in the last game in the third quarter, down 29, they pulled everyone, said that's it, and we'll get ready for this game. And then you see what the point spread is, up to 5.5 as well. Playoff Jimmy is a real thing. He was awful in the last game. He is 22.5 for his points prop at DraftKings. I expect him to bounce back, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't go over Curry, which I know it's not new, but how big that thumb is with that picture taken by the Warriors, I think is a big deal. So it's all about the pace with the Rockets. Can they continue this offensively? And Van Vliet has carried them here, at least from 3, what he's done as well. And his prop's only 2.5 for made threes.
Well, how about this? His points prop is 14.5. Speaking of Van Vliet, he's averaged 25.5 points on 12 of 18 shooting from deep in the past 2 games. He's been like the one reliable guy. But Kerr's very good.
Yeah.
And I would suspect that that's going to have to be a heavy dose of Gary Payton moving over to him tonight, and or probably throw a little bit of Jimmy Butler on him.
Yeah.
Because you can trust those. They're 2 like elite defenders.
They will not play your guy either.
Kaminga?
Yes.
I know.
It's incredible, right?
Only when they had to, earlier when Butler didn't play.
Yep. So but where are you at with Curry? Because you love him, but I mean he's a big game player. But I think you have to be concerned about that thumb, and if he's at 26.5 is a big number, even though he's going to get plenty of shots.
That's up because it was down at 24.5 earlier today. So that's what I noticed right away when they first started to put out these numbers. And so if it's 26.5 now, obviously bets are coming in on the over on that. He's only averaged 15 points per game in the past 2 games. This is like a personal thing. I have tried to fade Curry like in big games in the past when the number to me was just too big, and I think I've lost like 3 times. I'm 0-3 in my career trying to fade this guy.
Yeah.
So the circumstances might be a little bit different tonight, clearly, if the thumb is going to be nagging him and will be a problem here, which, again, hate to play the role of doctor, but it did not look pretty.
No, that thing's big. And the Brooks said the right thing. You're going after it. It's like the old days of WWF, like Greg the Hammer Valentine. You attack that leg, you go after it, right? You go after that injury. So going after the thumb and swiping down on it and trying to get him injured, that's to me, that's got to be the game plan.
I always love a good Greg the Hammer Valentine reference.
Sure.
Makes my day.
Yeah.
Good job out of you.
Absolutely.
Can you work in Hacksaw Jim Dugan before the end of the show? Is that possible? Jake the Snake Roberts, can you give me something else?
I believe he got pulled over with Iron Sheik one time, and they were rolling doobies. So I think I'm going to Google that. But just you think you have the persona of the WWF guy, and then you got Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan are in a car, and they're doing the sticky icky.
I'll try to work in Jumpin' Jim Bronzil at some point today as well.
I think he's from Minnesota.
I think he is too.
Yeah, boy, come on.
So I have much more action on the Jets Blues game tonight than I do.
Damn right.
In the NBA game.
Yeah. Yeah, because it screams Warriors, but then again, you're paying a tax because of the must-win angle.
I would agree.
So the other thing, this sets up for Minnesota, because as I understand it, Game 1 would be Sunday.
That's what it looks like on the schedule right now.
That's big for Minnesota, that they can get Golden State on Sunday as well with the home court. But to me, it's all about the Blues tonight. 14 in a row at home. Did you do empty net, and did you do Blues team total over 2.5, which has gone over every game except one, and then the issues with Hellebuck, well documented on the road, pulled in both games, and going back the run of 10 of 14 where he's allowed at least 4+ goals as well, and then 2-8 the last 2 years in the playoffs. Ugly.
I'm very intrigued by adding the empty netter here tonight in this game.
Yeah.
And you can bet this various ways, right? You can just bet will there be an empty netter in the game, which is typically around plus 115. But if you bet the individual teams, the Blues are going to be almost like, plus 275, plus 290 in that range?
Yeah.
To score an empty net goal, so I'd be intrigued by that. 6
of the last 8 clinchers, we've had an empty net. 8 of the last 12 overall, we've had an empty net goal.
Well, they were coming in fast and furious last night.
They were.
With the 4-game schedule. I laid $1.07 with the Blues. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. I wanted plus money, but based on the injury here to the Jets.
No Scheifele huge, yep.
Exactly right. And just what happened in the first 2 games when they played in St. Louis. Blues 7-2 and Blues 5-1. St. Louis trails 3-2, but they have a +2 goal differential for the series.
That's wild.
So, and here's another one for you. Save percentage on shots on goal. The Blues are at 88.54%. That is 14th out of 16 teams in the playoffs. The Jets, the President's Trophy winner, the winners here.
The jinx, the curse, yeah.
And Hellebuck with how awesome he was for the entire season. The Jets save percentage on shots on goal, 84.88%. Dead last in the entire playoffs.
They have his back. They're saying he can't stop what he can't see. And the Blues are doing a great job getting the guys in front of him and screening them. But he's got to do a better job. And he did not play well in the last game. They got 2 past him on the first 7 shots.
That's right.
That was pretty much domination by Winnipeg. So I'm with you on the Blues as well tonight, and this goes 7. See if Winnipeg can prove us wrong. How about the big news today? All over social media. This was excellent. All about football contests. And May 22nd, there's a big announcement here on Follow the Money. Check this out with Derek Stevens and Mike Paulman, the crew here at Circa, with what they teased earlier today on social media.
Oh, look! Wow, look at that! Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Time to make history. Millions are calling. Look for the Circa Million and Circa Survivor Guarantee on May 22nd, 2025.
How
2 ways
that?
to win. Millions guaranteed. 100% payback.
Okay, I love the idea of whoever put that together.
Isn't that smart with Batman?
Yeah, for those of you in the radio audience, you got to check it out on social media. They put it up on Derek put it up on Derek Stevens on Instagram, I think, and also on Twitter today. But yeah, with the bat signal out there, and then the people in the pool. Hey, look at that!
Yep.
Great idea for the commercial.
The guarantee has grown every year. Last year, the Circa Sports Million was $6 million in guaranteed prizes. Tune in May 22nd right here on Follow the Money. Derek Stevens, Mike Palm in studio, announcing how much he'll be putting up this season. Can't wait.
What do you think? I have no idea. They
no
won't
guess either.
tell us, and I don't want to know. I want to go in fresh to that day.
There's going to be a surprise, as I understand it.
I think we might have a couple of surprises.
Yeah. I'm not going to guess. I don't know.
How many survivors are you going to get into?
I don't know. Are you going to do the 5,000?
I am.
You are you? Good for you.
I am. I already had the conversation with somebody, probably going to do 2.
Really?
Don't want to do 1 because you could get bounced early on that one.
Well,
Obviously, you can get bounced on both of them in the first week, but you know what I'm saying?
See what they do here. And that's, and your guess is going to be 19,500?
I'll go over.
You will take it over?
It's going to touch 20,000 this year. Yes.
James Sullivan, last year in studio, snap call.
Oh, didn't even hesitate.
Survivor Sweat. He goes, yes, so many people see it as an investment and to get through the first couple of weeks and then selling the things.
I see. That blew me away last year when we were specifically told there was a gentleman that flew in from Canada to sign up for all 10, $1,000 a pop, and his goal was to make it after there was some carnage after the first couple of weeks and then sell all of his tickets to make a profit. That's what he did. You can approach it 100 different ways if you would like.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And you got all these, and we got the schedule May 14th, too. So they'll know what they do and everything. We're going to have 3 games on Christmas every year, like Adele said as well.
This is, it's no fun when you get bounced early from Survivor.
It's horrible.
It's agonizing.
Yeah.
But it also makes you want to fast forward like 50 weeks to get to the next season so you can play again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rebuy here. So that's why you're going to go to war with, some people will come in and sign up their wives, children, relatives, friends, whatever, and they'll get 60 entries.
FOMO and the documentary is working strong in their favor as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and last year was 14.2 million. You don't think, what do you think, 20,000?
I'll go 19.5 with my number.
All right.
You like my number yesterday? 3? How many series would end? I said 3. Oh, and we had 4 and 2. 4 series ended. I know. 19.5 I'll go with.
All right. Win-lose up next. It was the best day in Major League Baseball since 2009. Paulie with the details coming up next.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next A Numbers Game, of course, the NBA playoffs now. Second round has begun. We will talk to Carl Sack about that and all of his plays tonight and moving forward that he has in pocket. Jake Hahn on the NHL playoffs as the second round now is upon us in that as well. All of his plays, series-wise and game-wise. Wes Reynolds on the golf weekend that was, the PGA ahead. It's A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
What a night. Awesome. The series that ended, the props that cashed, Jonathan Davis was great, and the history that transpired with some of these performances and games. Leafs in 6, plus 480. They did it. Congrats. It didn't look good when they tied it at 2. I go, oh no, you know it's coming. They're going to blow this.
We should have been. We were mildly high on them yesterday, like medium. We should have been higher on the Maple Leafs.
Why?
It goes back to our conversation with Mike Palm. If they were going to win the series, they were probably going to win it in Game 6.
Well, still.
And plus money. That's why.
How soft was that goal to make it 2-2? I'm so sick. I was a goalie through high school. There wasn't one goalie coach that is going to tell you, hey, stick your ass in the back of the net and don't face the shooter from that angle. There's been like 5 goals like that in the playoffs already. These guys are too good. Face the shooter. Don't just sit there and back with your ass in the back of the net. You're going to get beat.
You should have been a goalie coach.
You never know. Jonathan Davis, reverse puck line, plus 240.
There you go.
Hello, empty nets. Packs are ready. Packs 6-1. Anytime goal. What was that? It was his first goal in the playoffs since 2001, I believe. Incredible. What a time for it. Vegas in 6, plus 380. They've won 42 in a row in the playoffs when scoring 3+ goals.
How many chances did the Minnesota Wild have last night? The pain and the misery for Minnesota fans continues.
I said the same thing about the Leafs. The Leafs missed 3 wide open nets.
You're right.
Well, one the guy wide open. How do you not put that in? He hit the post. The Wild are the first team in the MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL history to make the playoffs 8+ times in a 10-year span, but lose in the opening round every time. They have lost 9 series in a row, third longest. More on that coming up.
If that game would have been 6-2 last night, Wild, I would have been, that feels about right watching the game.
Yeah. Oilers in 6, plus 450. They won 4 in a row, all comeback wins. Empty net goal, 8 of the last 12, and 6 of the last 8 clinchers. Pistons, Knicks in play, plus 650. Most assists, Schroeder, 40-1. Clippers, Nuggets, most points, he came back, plus 550. Where's the Zach Lowe rant today? That's the guy where your back has to be against the wall before you show you're aggressive and you're going to, come on. Oh. Well, he was good.
Do we get the same James Harden then in Game 7?
I don't know. I hope so, but be aggressive and demand the ball. Most threes, Harden, plus 330. Most rebounds, Kawhi, 16-1. Dead heat with Westbrook. I bet that was a big ticket. I didn't see a price on that one. Here's what Mitch was talking about. Dogs went 10-1 yesterday in Major League Baseball. Best day since 2009, highlighted by the Rockies, plus 225.
I told you, don't let them get hot.
Yeah, can't let them get hot. What, they were 3-2, was it?
How did I not bet them yesterday? I made the case on the air. Dummy.
Man, I kind of talked you out of it.
4-3. 4-3. Freeland was good again.
Another under for Freeland. Subscribe, be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. This was. I've never seen this before. You'll never see it again. The dog is addicted and obsessed with bowls. It's like this was his toy growing up as a puppy, the bulldog, and he just plays with bowls all the time. So here he is on the couch, and then they have bowls all over the floor in the kitchen, and that's his toy. That it started. He didn't want toys or anything as growing up as a puppy. It was all about the bowls. Look at, he goes in the dishwasher and takes them out.
How the hell did 15 bowls get into the pool? Is that all him carrying them out there,
yeah,
or do they throw them in the pool?
Oh, look, he jumps on the table and
sure he does.
Yep, right. Look at, see, there's 5 of them on the couch.
It's a magic trick right here for him.
Yeah. Surrounded by, and he sleeps with it.
Okay.
He sleeps with it. How good is that? Come on. Wild have lost 9 series in a row, tied third longest in NHL history. 8 one-and-dones, second longest. Hold my beer. The Pistons have lost 10 straight home playoff games. That's an NBA record.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I realize that. Okay.
That series was crazy. The home team lost the last 5 games. One lose some. How about the cat? I'm not a cat guy, but these are some, mixing a salad here. But boy, the fat cat compilation where this guy falls through the chair like the panda. Here he's trying to jump through the railing on the stairs and go through the couch. He got caught. And another one here where it's trying to jump up and get up there on the counter. No, not going to make the front porch on
the
these
big
guys.
fella has no chance.
Right here on the wall. It's stuck on the wall and climbing down like an obstacle course. Tammy Evans sent this in, I believe. These are great, but these are just...
Oh, my God, that cat is 4 times the size of the one that's going to...
Oh,
look
no.
at this.
Oh,
Can't even scratch his head.
Ah, come on. What are you feeding this guy? Rusty. Come on. Bad beats. Kings plus a goal and a half. The empty net late. 2 seconds left? 1 second left for Edmonton.
Yeah.
Pistons laying 1.5, up 7 with 2:30 left. They scored 1 point the rest of the game. How bad was Knicks' first half?
Oh, that's about as bad as it gets.
They had a big lead in the second quarter, and then Beasley from half court to cash.
That's correct.
And Brunson under 2.5 made threes. He shot the 3 in a tie game in early.
Well, he got the double bang. Did he push off?
No.
Okay.
No, that was just a great move. And left Thompson in his wake. Oh. Awesome. Smarter bet start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. Limited time, we're slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. That is 14 months for less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO. Well, they're throwing in 2 extra months for free. Good job, Miles. 14 months. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The morning email from Bill 80. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. 24/7 live video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app. VSiN.com/subscribe. Code PRO. 14 months. Just $199. 1987. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Iron Sheik were arrested. They were traveling to a show in New Jersey where they were set to be the opposite teams in a tag match. They were pulled over by a state trooper who noticed Duggan was drinking a beer while driving, which was legal in his home state of Louisiana at the time.
Oh, Jesus. What?
But not in New Jersey. Yeah. That's what it says.
Drinking a beer while driving was legal in Louisiana in 1987.
It's Nick Cage leaving Las Vegas.
That cannot be accurate.
That's what it says.
Okay, let's go with it then.
It's 1987. Okay, chime in, everyone, if it'd help us. Duggan also said, hey, I got marijuana under the seat.
Sure.
And the Iron Sheik had Yale on him. Okay. 1987.
It's tough, right? You're driving from city to city.
Yeah,
You're
sure.
jumping off the turnbuckle at 15 feet high. Your body is aching. I guess you had to do what it takes to make sure you're ready for the next fight.
Yeah, sure.
Next match.
Yeah.
Any interest in Knicks plus 550 to beat the Celtics?
No. What do you think of the price?
Any interest in it?
How about the price? $8?
Huh?
$8?
Well, I mean,
I robbed you for $8? And you spent my whole morning on you for, $8?
It has to be that high.
You think so?
It has to be.
Well, here's the thing. They're 0-10 this year against the Celtics, Cavs, and Thunder.
That's correct.
So when they're playing the big boys, not only are those losses, it's ugly.
I think most of them were all lopsided.
Yeah, and then the Celtics' average win was by 16 points per game. So I think Boston. I was looking at the 1.5. Lay at 1.5 games. That's 310. So
how about you bet Boston then to sweep at plus 235, and you bet them 4-1 at plus 220.
Okay. Yeah. I can't. They're not going to get 2 games. This is they couldn't slow down the Pistons. They kept blowing leads, and it's a hell of a story because they won 14 games last year. But this is a whole different ball game now. Talking about the champs and then how they're just going to put Cat and Brunson in these pick and rolls and just eviscerate them from 3.
Well, here's the thing. The Celtics have been injury prone this year, though, too, right? A lot of guys missing time,
okay,
action.
that's a fun discussion. They can still survive an injury or 2.
To which player or players? Can they
other than Tatum? Brown can get hurt. They'll still win in 5.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
But then if they have cluster injuries, so if you're talking about Porzingis can't play and Brown can't play, and all of a sudden Derek White's questionable.
Well, Holiday's day-to-day, too.
I'm sorry, that's the guy that I didn't even bring up because he's missed ton of action.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm just saying if something happens again, then Knicks might be alive. But
$8, wow. Plus, the Knicks haven't made the conference final since 2000. So, but I'll tell you, Brunson's incredible. What a performance.
Oh, it's great. Had to have the bounce-back game. How about NHL? Are you surprised the Hurricanes are this big against the Capitals?
Yes.
Carolina's minus 155.
With the uncertainty of what's going to happen with Anderson, yes. Without home ice and how well Thompson has played?
Thompson was awesome the other night.
Yeah. But I have to see I need to know more about Anderson and these coaches and organizations play games with the lower body and day-to-day and all this other stuff. Right? How about Edmonton favored against Vegas?
That's the next one I wanted to ask you about. Are you surprised by that number?
Not really. based on what happened last year, the run to the Cup, and now just how dangerous they are offensively. I mean, Kemper had an unbelievable season, and they made him look like me out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous what they did in the last 4 games of this series.
We should have our heads examined. I brought it up on the air. They were down 0-2 to the Kings, and I get it. That series was not going well.
No, it wasn't.
The number for the Oilers to win the West at that time, it's rock bottom.
I know.
Rock bottom. They
I
were
was out. The goalie change hadn't happened either, though. That was the other thing.
They were plus 180 to win the series. They won the next 4.
They got me good. I was convinced L.A. was going to get it done. Sorry, guys.
All right, Mike Somich on the program coming up next. We'll get into the Derby, but also he's very strong on a bunch of games in the NHL and series prices. That's next.
They're off.
If you're serious about betting this season, it's time to go pro. Right now, you can score 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's 2 extra months on us. We're talking daily best bets, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, full access to the VSiN Watch app, and all of our betting guides, including the Kentucky Derby and the big one, the NFL betting guide. But don't wait, this offer's gone May 31st. Head over to VSiN.com/subscribe and use the code PRO, P-R-O, to lock it in and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
A lot to get into with our next guest. VSiN host Mike Somich joins the program. He's on the Progressive guest line. He's big into the ponies. He's been obviously very busy, as you can imagine, like every day this week, getting ready for the Derby and beyond. VSiN at the Track is available on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and also Mike's going to be doing a special VSiN at the Track on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82 on Sirius XM tomorrow from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll get into the ponies coming up in a little bit, but for those of you not watching the show right now, he's wearing his... I'm conflicted here. I don't know what to do, right? Look at this. He is pumping his chest with his St. Louis Blues jersey on. They play the Jets tonight. Paulie, you have a throwback Jets jersey. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be fisticuffs the next time Mike's in studio?
Good job, Mike. Way to bring it.
Hey, I'm just saying, you're lucky I didn't fly in early for this show, because I'm literally going to the airport right after the show to fly out to Vegas for the Derby tomorrow. I wouldn't have had my Blues jersey with me, so I'm glad I was able to run in the other room, get this sweater on here, and represent for the team that's going to get the W tonight.
Now, why do you have a Blues jersey, by the way?
I am a huge St. Louis Blues fan.
Okay.
Like, the interesting part about gambling is you lose fandom along the way because you look at it in such an analytical way. But the one team that I have stayed a fan with throughout this entire process has been the St. Louis Blues. Hockey is the first sport I really fell in love with. I was living in St. Louis at the time. It was the Hall & Oates era. Went to games with my dad in the old barn, the arena out there. I actually broke into it and stole a brick from the arena before they demolished the thing, so I still got that in my room. So St. Louis Blues really the first love for me in sports.
Oh, that's a phenomenal answer.
Good.
Great. So has your fandom of the Blues gotten in the way of you being like a bettor to the level that you have achieved, right, and gotten to in your career now? Or does that like go to the back burner now? Are you able to put that fandom aside when you make bets?
It's tough sometimes, because I won't go against the Blues sometimes because I have the emotional, like, especially in the playoffs, I'm rooting for them, right? But I also think it gives me an ability to understand them a lot better than some other teams, because I do watch literally every minute of their games that they play, both in the regular season and the playoffs. So you can, as a fan, if you are realistic, you know when you're not going to be able to really perform at your best, and you know when you will. And like this year was great because I got numbers for them to make the playoffs at plus 550, plus 350, plus 275, plus 150, all the way throughout the season, because you could see the surge coming once they switched over to Jim Montgomery, and you saw the style of plays change for St. Louis. So that was awesome. I did not bet game 1 and game 2. I didn't bet game 5. I bet the Blues in game 3 and game 4, and I'll be getting right back on that horse. Actually, already on that horse here for game 6 at home.
Yeah. What is your approach then here? I like him too. I did it today. I got him this morning at minus 107. You have better numbers than I do, but explain what you're going to do tonight then in this game.
Yeah, I played them minus 105 right when the line came out. I also played them minus a goal and a half, so the reverse puck line plus 215 as well. This is a St. Louis Blues team that's just different on home ice and on road ice. They've won 14 straight games at home. They absolutely blew this Winnipeg team out in game 3 and game 4. And the difference you see from St. Louis is on the offensive side. This is a younger hockey team, and you could see in game 1 and game 2 they struggled to adjust to the pace of play that they saw in the playoffs. And on the road, they're struggling to adjust to it. And one thing that if you're a novice hockey fan, you probably don't know, a big part of being on home ice is you get last change, which means that the road team has to put on their forward and defensive unit before you have to every single time there's a face-off. That makes a massive difference when you have younger players, what you want to put in the best possible scenario. So the Blues at home are able to keep that Thomas and that first line away from the top defensive pairing for Winnipeg. They're able to keep them away from the top defensive line for Winnipeg. And that really got the offense going for St. Louis. And down the board, I don't mind our fourth line against theirs, but we need to make sure that the first line for St. Louis is able to get positive matchups. We saw that consistently in game 3 and game 4. That's why the offense really got rolling. They were able to get to Hellebuck. That's going to be a big storyline tonight, how he is going to be able to perform. He wasn't really tested in Winnipeg because we didn't see St. Louis create the same offensive zone chances and offensive zone time that we've seen in St. Louis. I think we see a replay of game 3 and game 4. I think we see this Blues team be able to hem Winnipeg into their own zone, create consistent offensive chances, and create more speed through the neutral zone, something we saw in St. Louis that we didn't see in Winnipeg. If that's the case, the Blues should have the upper hand here, especially with Mark Scheifele, who is Winnipeg's best player and their best two-way defensive and offensive center out of the game. Going to be interesting to see what Nemeshnikov can do taking over that first-line center position. But it's a huge loss because it's not just your second-line center playing on your first line. That means your third-line center has to move up. Your fourth-line center has to move up. It hurts you from a depth perspective down the lineup as well.
Very good breakdown. Excellent. How about Game 7 tomorrow in Dallas? And DeBoer is 8-0 in Game 7s in his career. And our buddy in Denver, Chad Andrus, couldn't wait to tweet out, you see what it looks like when they don't mess with the ice. So Colorado did win Game 1. They're favored on the road in Game 7. What do you think?
I will be rooting for Colorado for a lot of financial reasons here. I played them already in Game 7. Got minus 130 on Colorado. I'm seeing anywhere minus 125 to minus 135 in the market. So pretty widespread right now in this game. The Avs are simply the better team. They are deeper. They're able to roll 4 lines. We're not seeing the same offensive depth that we've seen from Dallas. And if you watch this whole series, Colorado could have won this in 4. They dominated those first 4 games. They lost 2 of them in overtime. That simply happens in playoff hockey. You lose based on bounces sometimes. Game 5, I thought, was Dallas's best game of the series. They played awesome. They were at home. That's the big concern here. Can they replicate that Game 5 going back home? Even last night, when we saw this Colorado team go up 2-0, it felt like they were in total control. You look at shots on goal, 48-28 for advantage of Colorado. They're flying up and down the ice. I think we're going to see a similar style of Colorado come out and play in Game 7. I played them 14-1 to win the Stanley Cup before Game 6, because if they win Game 7, they're going to be the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. So you can still get them out there at 8-1. I don't hate that price, because if they get through this series, I like them against either Winnipeg or St. Louis, and I like them against the Golden Knights or the Edmonton Oilers as well. So I think Colorado has a great chance, if they can get through this game, to run all the way to the Stanley Cup.
Well, where's your money going to be on the other series that is already set in the Western Conference? And it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest is VSiN host Mike Somich. His show is on the weekends here. It's called Ready, Set, Bet. Are you a little bit surprised that the Oilers are favored to win their series against the Golden Knights?
I am. I thought the Golden Knights should be like minus 140 in this series, and I look on the board, and it's Oilers minus 120, so I was very surprised by that price. I bet Vegas. I bet Vegas minus a goal and a half, or a game and a half in this series as well. For full disclosure, I was all over the Los Angeles Kings in the first round. I thought that they had the edge over this Edmonton Oilers team, and was feeling pretty good about myself when the Kings were up 2-0, but they just couldn't handle that top line from Edmonton. That was the main problem, that McDavid and Draisaitl able to get it going at key times in that series against the Kings, and they were able to consistently come from behind against the Kings. Good luck doing the same thing against this Vegas Golden Knights team. Much better defensively structured team, much more talented team than the Kings. The Kings are a good team, but they don't have that top line that you can really roll out there and go toe-to-toe with Edmonton. Vegas very much has that. Vegas is also much deeper on the defensive side than the Los Angeles Kings were. I think it's going to be a very good series, but I think Vegas should be favored. I like them in Game 1 here, minus 125. I like them for the series, plus 100. And like I said, I'm going to play some alternate series numbers as well to try and get a bigger plus money attached to this Vegas team.
Okay, how about the East? And Carolina, $1.50 in that range against Washington.
This is where I think the run ends for Washington. We saw there's a very similar scenario in last year where Vancouver was not expected to be very good. They end up getting the 1 seed in the West. They win their first round matchup against the wild card team. And then when they have to play a better team for 7 straight games, they got bounced in the second round. I think you're going to see the same story here. This is a very structured Carolina Hurricane team. They don't have the top-end offensive talent, and that's where we've seen them struggle in the past, is scoring goals. But defensively, they can really, really shut you down. Very good at hemming teams in the defensive end, being able to get a lot of control of the puck and create shots off of that. You just need enough of them to go in for Carolina. I think Carolina, the clearly the better team in this series from top to bottom. The question, will they be able to come home, overcome home ice here for the Washington Capitals? But the Capitals just don't have the depth to be able to consistently roll out lines against Carolina like Carolina's going to be able to do against them. If Ovechkin is able to go off and that series, they has a phenomenal series, Washington can be in it. If not, they're in a lot of trouble here against a very deep Carolina Hurricanes team.
In about a minute here, Mike, you want a piece of the Leafs at this price?
Oh, no. This is where I think the story ends for Toronto. I do think they are better than what we've seen in the past couple years. But I said this before, that Florida Panthers Tampa Bay Lightning series, the winner of that series is going to win the East. I still believe that. I like Tampa in the series, but this was the Florida we saw last year in the playoffs. Tkachuk came back after that injury in the Four Nations break. He was awesome in that first round series. They were able to play with speed, play very aggressive offensively against Tampa, and Tampa just couldn't handle the consistent pressure. I think we see Florida get past Toronto rather easily.
Sit tight, my friend. Derby coming up. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cashback rewards. 100% approval for all the betting deposits. Card never declined. No waiting for that wire as well. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet, code FTM. Deposit $25. Edge Boost will match it. Edgeboost.bet, code FTM.
More with VSiN host Mike Somich coming up next. He's also with RacingDudes.com. He loves the ponies. He also loved Grande going into the Derby. Grande was scratched today. So how does Grande's scratch change how Mike is betting the Derby? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.
In the heart of downtown Las Vegas, a sports oasis awaits. Stadium Swim, the ultimate outdoor amphitheater, built for the ultimate sports fan, with a colossal screen that brings the game closer than ever. Reserve a daybed, private cabana, or lounge in the center of it all. 6 pools to dive into as the game heats up. And the best part, there's never an off-season. Open 365 days a year. Stadium Swim, it's always spectator season.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Derby week. Of course, it hits tomorrow, first Saturday in May, as we continue here with VSiN host Mike Somich. A lot to promote here, by the way. So Mike has a great breakdown on those, for those of you like betting with different bankrolls, if you have a small budget, a medium budget, a bigger budget, on how he would approach and advice for like putting together a superfecta for the Derby. Chris Massero was on yesterday and saying that his favorite bet is the superfecta, so he loves that. Mike's also with racingdudes.com, and he's going to be doing 4 hours tomorrow. 4 hours on Derby Day on Sirius XM channel 82. That's Mad Dog Sports Radio. You, in the guide, you pointed out that you were going to be big on Grande, and he was going to be kind of peppered throughout your exotics. He was scratched this morning. So how does that change your overall betting philosophy here?
Yeah, kind of a bummer. When you have a 20-1 shot that's not really getting a bunch of respect at the window, you don't like to see the horse scratched. You kind of like to keep that one in there. But we did lose Grande from the field today. Not a huge change from a structural perspective of the race. He was going to be a stalker, so sit kind of in the middle of the field. So it doesn't really affect the pace all that much. Doesn't affect the deep closers all that much. So easy one to adjust to, but just kind of a bummer when you like a horse that's a bigger number that you think is really going to run the best race of his career. And it's the question of, is it going to be good enough or not? Not a horse that you like to see leave the race. Yesterday, we saw the number 4 Rodriguez scratch. That mattered a little bit more from a pace perspective. He was one of 2 Bob Baffert horses in here. He won the Wood Memorial up at Aqueduct last time out, going gate to wire, which means that he led every single step of the race. He probably could have played a pace part of the pace here. The other Baffert, the one Citizen Bull, is the Bob Baffert that Baffert specifically said he was going to send. So we knew that the one Citizen Bull was going to go. We weren't sure what the 4 Rodriguez was going to do. So that it may affect the pace. I don't think it affects it as much as some other people do, but we'll see how that ends up playing out tomorrow. The one big piece of news that happened because of these scratches, the 21 horse Baeza ends up making it to the race, and why that matters. So Baeza ran second to Journalism in the Santa Anita Derby. It's a horse that's lightly raced, but has been getting better consistently every time he stepped onto the track. He's a half-brother to Mage, who won this race 2 years ago. He's a half-brother to Dornoch, who won the Belmont last year. So very good bloodlines for Baeza. And it's been interesting to watch the market. So there's already $3 million bet into the Kentucky Derby win pool. And when there was about $1 million is when we found out Baeza was going to get in. He was 53-1 at that time. He's all the way down to 19-1 now after that next $2 million showed up. So we've seen a lot of Baeza money roll in once he got announced into the race. And he's a horse I'm going to be using in my trifectas, my superfectas. I think it'll be tough for him to win, but I think he is going to be a player if you are looking a little bit further down the line.
What do you think of Sovereignty, the 18 horse, which is getting a lot of respect the last couple days?
I love Sovereignty, and he's sitting there. So his morning line was 5-1. He was your second choice on the morning line. Journalism, your favorite, the 8 horse, 3-1 on the morning line. And Sovereignty was actually getting ignored at the windows for quite a bit of the early wagering here. He was as high as 12-1 in the pari-mutuel pool. Right now, he's sitting right around 9-1, and I think we're going to get right around 9-1 on Sovereignty. And this is a horse that's trained by Bill Mott. He's a Hall of Fame trainer. You got Junior Alvarado, his go-to rider, riding the horse. And I love the fact, if you look back at Sovereignty's 2-year-old season, he ran twice. His third race was against Graded Stakes Company at Churchill Downs over this racetrack. He was 9 of 9 horses on the backstretch, and we saw that devastating move that he can make. The turn of foot that he has, he's able to just gobble up ground in the stretch. Churchill Downs, the second longest stretch in America, so a great place for him to be running. And he ended up winning that race, the Grade 3 Street Sense, by 5 lengths over Tistastic, over Sandman, who are both in this field today. You fast forward to this year, his 3-year-old season, runs twice at Gulfstream Park, looked very good in his first race. I thought ran a better than it looked race in the Florida Derby, running second to Pond Street, who would have been a shorter price in the Derby. And now you have that third race off the layoff, the third race coming back to Churchill Downs. He's won over this course, won under the Twin Spires. And he's going to get the pace set up. He's going to be a closer, which is a concern for me when you're looking at the Derby, because you have to find your way through 18 other horses in this case. But you've got speed on the inside with the 1 horse and the 2 horse and the 5 East Avenue is going to go. You've got the 12 horse or the 5 American Promise is going to go. The 12 East Avenue is going to go. The 20 on the outside, Owen Almighty is going to go. that's going to create a hot pace in this Derby. And if that's the case, I'm looking for horses who are going to come from off the pace. And Sovereignty fits that bill, especially since we've seen him do it underneath the Twin Spires. He's the horse I'm going to be ended up having the largest win wager on, especially if we're getting that 8-1 to 10-1 range in the price.
Okay. What other horses fit that bill that you just talked about?
I like the 14 Tiztastic quite a bit. Now, Tiztastic ran second to Sovereignty in the Street Sense last year as a 2-year-old. And what stands out to me, and I mentioned that Baez is the half-brother to Mage, Tiztastic comps toward Mage to me, and what Mage was able to do. One of the underrated qualities in a racehorse is athleticism. And in a field of 19 other horses, athleticism matters because you're going to have these moments throughout the race where a hole will open up, and you'll have multiple horses who are trying to compete for that same hole, trying to get there first. And what we saw with Mage winning the Kentucky Derby is he won 4 or 5 of those races on the backstretch and around the far turn, and that was what was able to get him the win versus Angel of Empire. This year, Tiztastic did something very similar in the Louisiana Derby down at Fairgrounds, his last race, where he had a hot pace set up in front of him and was able to weave through traffic, beat horses to holes, and win that race. I think Tiztastic's another horse you got to at least consider here. He's 20-1 right now on the morning line. He was 18-1 in the parimutuel pool with about $3 million into it. So he's a very, very interesting case. And I'll say one thing. The 17 Sandman is getting a ton of love. And that's because it's named after a Metallica song. You have Griffin Johnson, who is a TikTok, YouTube, Twitter star, over 3 million followers. You've got all this public money coming in on Sandman. So if you like Sandman, do not bet Sandman to win. You want to find a way to play like the Oaks Derby double today and tomorrow, or play an exacta with Sandman, but don't play the win bet because we are seeing a ton of public money come in on the 17 horse, and that's inflating the odds of the 8 Journalism, of the 18 Sovereignty, of the 14 Tiztastic. It's giving you better prices on other horses in the field. So I'd stay away from Sandman in the win pool, but I do like the 14 Tiztastic at his 18-1, 20-1 range, and the 18 Sovereignty anywhere from that 8 to 10-1 number.
All right, Mike Somich is our guest, VSiN host, racingdudes.com, and he's going to be doing VSiN at the track tomorrow from 4 to 8 Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 82. That's Mad Dog Sports Radio. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears as if, Churchill right now is in a delay because of the rain. Looks like it might be pouring down there. How does that affect? How does that affect tomorrow then, in your opinion?
It is pouring right now. So they're having about a 40-minute delay. All the spectators were told to go inside because of lightning. Horses are now back in the paddock, so we're getting back to racing, but it's going to make a difference. The track now listed as sloppy. We are expecting more rain tomorrow morning with scattered showers. Supposed to become sunny later in the day. I would expect what we're going to see is the track tomorrow start out somewhere around sloppy or good. And as long as we don't get more rain, it should be fast by the time the Derby goes. But one of the beauties of the way that horses have been bred, specifically in the U.S. here, is that most of the sires are very good on an off track. You'll see a lot of Curlins, Into Mischiefs, Not This Time. All of those horses, Tappet, are very good on an off track with their progeny. So there's not any horses that I'm looking at the Derby and I'm like, I have to upgrade this horse a ton. Today in the Kentucky Oaks, I do think Ballerina de Oro is gets a big time benefit from that rain. She is bred to love the mud. So the 6 horse today in the Oaks, I think, is upgraded because of the rain. But in tomorrow's Derby, I don't see a big upgrade because of the weather that we're expecting to see here in the short term.
Okay, at the end of the race, when it's all said and done tomorrow, are we talking about Journalism as the winner?
He's the most likely winner, and he is very talented. To me, like if I got, let's say I got 5-1 on every horse, I would be betting Journalism. I do think he is the best horse in the field. I'm just not willing to swallow 3-1 on Journalism, and that's where I think he's going to end up going off. You need him to win 25% of the time to break even at 3-1. That's just too short of a number for me. That's why I'm moving away from him here and going with a bigger price in Sovereignty. But I will be using Journalism in the first and the second spot in all of my exotics, my superfectas, my trifectas, because I do respect the heck out of them. And I'll have a big exacta, 8-18 as well, because I do think they're the 2 most likely winners and the 2 horses who have the best shot to run well tomorrow.
Very good. That was an awesome 25 minutes, my man. Thank you so much. Good luck to your Blues tonight and tomorrow. Well, today with the races and also tomorrow. We appreciate that.
Yeah, you got it. Big game on Sunday, too. Got to win Game 7 if we win Game 6 tonight.
There you go. Well said. And you can follow Mike on X. He's at Samobomb18 as well.
Whether you're placing your first bet or you've been playing the ponies for years, VSiN's Kentucky Derby betting guide has everything you need to get ahead on Derby Day. Clear breakdown on how to bet on horse racing. Great for beginners. Detailed previews on both the Derby and the Oaks. Best bet from top racing experts to help serious bettors cash in. The guide is yours with a VSiN Pro subscription. Start today, $9.99, and that's your first 30 days. Derby Guide, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, vsin.com/subscribe. Get it now.
Hey, here's what I would also recommend. When you go get the guide, you can print off the part where Adam Burke breaks down the bets and what they mean, and just file that away for the entire year and have it on hand like next year, and for if you want to get more involved in the races as well. It's awesome. It's bet by bet. He breaks everything down.
Can you believe it's named after the Metallica song?
Oh, sure I can, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Jeff Davis from Circa up next on the NHL. Is anything mispriced in these matchups based on his numbers?
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really, with